Afternoon, everyone. I shall share my screen. Go here. Slideshow. Right, there we go. So hopefully you can see the slides. So I'm going to talk about the use of artificial intelligence in healthcare. So the look at 0 to 10 years. AI is already being used, certainly in hearing aids, visual aids already. So that's where the 0 comes from. So I'll take a look at how this AI services are going to expand over 10 years or so. I'm coming at it from a sort of engineering perspective. So people who've got a medical background, I'll be pleased to hear your comments at the end of the talk. So the NHS is investing in AI, digital AI programs, £10 billion, but in the next 3 to 4 years. So, you know, the NHS is recognizing it as an important area. So the areas are sort of listed there: diagnostics, already sort of hearing and so on. Public health screening, I think, is a few years away, but will be with us. Neurological health, new drug discovery, probably a little longer term, sort of personalized treatments as well, matched to the individual rather than one size fits all. And I expect AI to have a big impact on medical administration. I think we'd all agree the NHS needs some help in that direction. That's certainly been my experience. So AI really is hopefully pretty much transform the NHS over the next 10 years or so. So we should all see the benefits of that. So I just start off, what is AI? It's machines and systems with human-like intelligence. In other words, they can learn and problem solve. They work much faster than humans. We're talking microseconds rather than the human brain, which sort of works in milliseconds. They're trained on masses of data. The more data you give them, the better they get. And they have this tendency to suck in data from pretty much everywhere. They work well in complex situations through pattern matching. So if people have complex medical conditions, the hope is that they will be able to sort those out fairly quickly, probably faster than medical clinicians will be able to do. And we'll be automating a lot of these medical processes over the next 5 to 10 years, and also bringing down the cost as well. Overall, AI is pretty much across all the sectors: health, education, transport, industry. It's absolutely everywhere. Last year, there's 235 billion US dollars spent on AI, expected to go up to 630 billion by 28. So you can see it's a growing area with very big investment. And the motivation for the investment is that it increases the functionality, increases the performance of all these systems, at the same time as bringing down the cost. So that applies to medicine, education, pretty much across the board. But I'll focus on medicine for the purpose of this talk. So one of the enhancements around today is AI hearing enhancements. You can buy AI-powered hearing aids, cost about £2,000, not cheap, but they basically, the AI in the hearing aid, you can see it here on the edge here, it automatically adjusts the sound entering the ear. It matches to the environment, so it recognizes the background noise and wipes it out and cuts down the background noise. Adjust the hearing aid settings probably 100 times a second, to match the user profile. So when the user sees the audiologist will produce a profile of their hearing. This will then be put into the hearing aid, and after that, the hearing aid will match the background to their hearing profile, so they get the best possible experience. After 4 or 5 years ago, they'll probably go in for sort of reprofiling, obviously, if their hearing's changed. But these AI hearing aids, I haven't got one personally, but I'm told that they do improve considerably. And they also tend to focus on conversations. If you're having a conversation with someone, it'll focus on that conversation and cut out the background noise. So overall, improve the experience. It's available in the private sector, so it's about 2K, from Boots. I should be shortly available in the public sector, possibly already. AI for the visually impaired is another big area. You can get iPhone applications these days that will give you a voice description of an object. So you have a partially sighted person reading the back of a packet, and the application in the phone is reading out the text. Okay, so I loaded this down a couple of days ago, and it seems to work quite well. And this AI can also be trained to recognize people's faces. So if you got a person, with visually impaired, that will help them. There's also AI-powered, AI-powered canes, AI-powered white canes for partially sighted. So there's a girl crossing the street. The AI-powered cane it's got a verbal output, so it'll talk to the customer. It talks to this girl here, and will tell her about surrounding objects, surrounding obstacles. It'll provide a description of what's around her, and it'll also navigate her to where she wants to go. And this is available today. It's AI-powered white stick, as it were. And also, just recently, we've seen AI-powered spectacles are becoming available. So a person could wear these spectacles, and again, it gives a verbal readout. So if they're going around the supermarket looking at, they can say, this is vegetable, this is potatoes, oranges, and so on, and this is what it costs. So you get a verbal description of the scenery. Again, I think these are priced around about a couple of £1,000 at the moment, but obviously the price will come down over the next few years. So these hearing aids for sight and sound are available now, and they'll obviously improve as we go into the future. In fact, for a sort of a handicapped person, it'll expand as we go into the future. So in development, you've got this sort of smart wheelchair. The smart wheelchair knows exactly where the person is, and they can provide them with information. So as part of the package, they get enhancements to sight, sound, location, access to any form of digital information from the wheelchair, which obviously gives them increased independence, improved communications. If they need to contact someone for help, they can just talk into these machines, which are around the device somewhere, and get help, remote assistance if they need it. And obviously you just get greater social inclusion with all these digital age. All right, so this is in development. AI cancer health check. This is available today. You can have a blood test that will use an AI to spot signs of cancer, and the AI system will spot this, from the blood sample. You do a quick analysis, it'll recognize the cancer pretty much within an hour, so you'll be able to, it'll speeden everything up. If you've got, you could even possibly test from home as well, or certainly from your local GP. These sort of cancer tests will be fast and cheap. The AI is trained on all the common cancers. So for example, early detection of cancer can be important. That can make a big difference. Ovarian cancer is one that's very difficult to spot, but the AI is able to spot it inside the blood sample. So that is a big benefit to people with, I know my mother had ovarian cancer, and we could tell that there was something wrong, but there wasn't really a diagnosis until about 6 months before she died. So this will actually give advance notice over probably 4 to 5 years before it happens. You can also use the AI with nanotubes, to flow through the blood supply, settle onto the cancers, and emit a fluorescent light, so you'll be able to see where the cancers are. So, from a GP, or certainly from the hospital, they'd be able to locate these cancers fairly easily. There's a database already exists of 120 known cancers, which can be spotted with a blood test with more than 90% accuracy. It's not 100%, but it's well over 90% accuracy. Type 2 diabetes can also be located, possibly to something more like 70% accuracy. There's 2 hospital trusts are already investing in this, Imperial and Chelsea in London. And they can spot type 2 diabetes counts symptoms 10 years in advance of the thing getting full blown. What they do is they check the ECG heart races for subtle early warning signs of type 2 diabetes. And there are clinical trials planned for this year. As I say, that these are around about more than 70% accurate, and that will obviously improve over time. So again, it's almost like a sort of screening test effectively. Skin cancers, you can get applications on your iPhone. You can put it on a mole or something you think might be cancerous. And the application on the phone, the AI application, will analyze the mole and tell you whether it thinks it's cancerous or not. It'll analyze the image and give you some risk figure, for cancer for a mole. So again, there's applications available. You can load them down. There's one called Skin Vision, I've sort of mentioned there, which they claim is 99% accurate. And obviously, if you spot something or your phone spots something, the application, that would encourage the individual to go and get professional advice. Or you could share the image online with an expert and get them to do an evaluation, which is good. There's a London hospital's already using this for skin cancer diagnosis, and they find that 95% of the patients are cleared very quickly. So, the AI is a way of clearing up the list and identify the patients that really do need attention. There's similarly AI diagnosis of eye conditions, common eye conditions, macular degeneration, glaucoma can now be identified using AI. The AI in these equipments is trained on all the common eye conditions. And I think they've even got them down Specsavers. And I was quite amazed that they look at the back of your eye, and some of the equipment is now AI powered, to spot some of these common conditions. And obviously, if you spot the condition, then you can go and get expert equipment. So it gives you early warning of these conditions. And it's increasingly found in high street opticians. Just going the broader topic of enhanced medical diagnosis. A diagnosis typically for cancer or whatever disease requires a team of experts. It's generally done in a hospital, slow. It can take several days, expensive. Obviously, someone has to pay, and you need these experts, people. What you can do is and what they are doing increasingly is to train up these AI machines, to do that job for them. So you can train the AI machine on measurements of common conditions on hundreds of thousands of patients, and so they can be effectively spot them in a diagnosis. So from the measurements, the AI can analyze the results and identify the known conditions with something like 99% accuracy. So that'll speed up the whole diagnostic process. The machine builds up an internal model relating the medical symptoms to the disease, and that effectively speeds everything up, and it frees these experts to continue to concentrate on the non-standard medical conditions where their specialism is absolutely needed. All right, so that will basically free up these experts to focus on the really hard cases, and the AI will do everything else. So that's becoming available now for diagnostics. So an example, this was breast cancer. The AI tool was trained. There was a trial of 10,000 mammograms in 2022. and they identified probably 100 or so cases in the mammogram, something like that. And then they trialed the AI system, to see how well it would do. And it spotted all the known cases and found 11 additional cases missed by the doctors. So the AI, in fact, for diagnostic did extremely well. So you can see these very small cancers, very difficult to spot. And the AI can spot these small cancers at a very early stage. And there's another trial running this year with 700,000 women. So, it's a trial. And obviously, if this trial is successful, it points the way, to mass rollout, for some sort of mass screening or whatever in the next couple of years. And then having spotted the cancer, you then need to remove it. Well, or that's one of the treatments. I mean, there are other treatments. So that they can use a surgeon can use augmented reality to focus on the tumor and identify exactly what needs to come out. So it means that the surgeon can extract a lot more of the tumor than just by line of sight. He'll get a sort of augmented image which focuses on where the cancer is, so he can extract as much of it as possible. He gets this augmented view. So the augmented view would highlight small tumors and blood vessels and so on. The AI systems are trained. It only takes about a year to train them up and so on. So that's augmented surgery. That's available today. A big success for AI has been stroke analysis. We have in the UK about 100,000 people have strokes every year. And obviously early treatment of the strokes is important because it minimizes the damage. It's essentially a clot in the blood. The blood stops flowing. So the sooner you can get it going again, the minimize the damage caused inside the brain. So early detection and diagnosis. So you can have remote home kits are getting extremely powerful these days, for spotting things like stroke signs. So if you think you've had a stroke, send the results in, and they'll be analysed within a few. Well, they'll be analysed instantly by the AI, and if necessary, passed onto medical equipment. So that, and obviously, if you end up in hospital, the AI can also analyze the CT and MRI scans. But this is a method of getting very early diagnosis, even from home. The performance of this AI system for stroke enhancement, they found it brings down the treatment time by more than 60 minutes, probably quite a lot more, probably by several hours in some cases. And the statistics show that you get about 3 times the number of stroke patients recovering with no disability or just a slight disability. So the effects of this have been quite remarkable over the last few years, and they will improve obviously going forward. And the AI will also flag the likelihood of further complications or likelihood of reoccurrence. The AI is also used for rehabilitation. So we have a patient here staring into a screen. So there's an AI robot working with the patient and doing exercises with the patient. And the AI robot, can measure the response of the patient and can monitor their recovery and adjust the exercises accordingly. All right, so AI is having a big impact on stroke treatment. Now, this really leans towards mass health screening. It's not available today, but I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we can expect to see some form of mass health screening powered by artificial intelligence. And this should bring down the cost of healthcare. So you're basically really transforming the healthcare system into a system that creates health rather than a medical dispenser for sick people. You'll be able to monitor public health and keep people healthy and give them early warning if they need treatment. And this is aided by wearables, home diagnostics, and so on. The home-based cancer detection systems, I think, are still in R&D. They should be available within the next few years. And the The data is processed locally by the AI and sent to the GP, to make a full health assessment if necessary. So most people will be okay, but obviously if necessary, the results will go automatically to an AI system linked to the GP or the hospital. So these results should be available within hours, not days. No waiting list, straight onto the system within hours. So that's very promising. And there's actually quite a lot of healthcare research on which I didn't really know about until I looked into it. But this is Open Safety AI is an NHS program for large-scale analysis of electronic health records, which is ongoing. It's actually monitoring 58 million people. It was introduced during COVID and it's still working. It doesn't name individuals, it's anonymous data, so you don't get named in it. And it's now got access to GP records for the entire England since 2020. So this sort of healthcare research is really looking to identify trends, treatments, and improve delivery of healthcare services. It's currently got about 50 separate projects running, and including COVID. And it's also got some mental health and some drug safety studies as well. It's anonymized. Dementia diagnosis has moved forward. From MRI scans, you can identify dementia, things like Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, and so on, years before the actually symptoms occur. With around about, they found it's up to 8 years before symptoms appear with about 80% accuracy. So again, this points towards some sort of screening, or certainly if there are warning signs, then you can get the AI can help the diagnostics, detect things like Parkinson's, MS, and other neural conditions. The AI can also be used. Obviously, scans are quite expensive, but the AI can also recognize symptoms in memory loss, speech, and movement as well, which is obviously quite a lot cheaper. So diagnosis of medical condition. So Parkinson's disease is a rather sad disease. What in terms of treatments, there's new treatments being powered by AI, things like brain implants. There was a TV program on this recently. This guy had AI implants. So, to manage the symptoms, you can't cure Parkinson's, but you can manage the symptoms, so you can prevent the, handshaking and so on and so forth. You put an implanted device in the brain and the chest, and these work together. So electrical pulses from the device, which is implanted in the chest here, are sent to the brain, and that cancels out the neural signals and reduces the tremors. And the AI can adjust the stimulation in real time, to maximize the benefits to an individual patient. So that this is, at the moment, this is an experimental treatment. So obviously it'll be available within 5 to 10 years, I would estimate. And it will adapt to the patients, and give them sort of individual treatments. New drug development obviously is ongoing the whole time. This is being accelerated with if you use artificial intelligence in the lab, it's able to analyze vast amounts of data on all existing drugs, molecular structures, biological information. So the AI is able to analyze lots and lots of data in the lab and come out with optimal treatments for a particular condition, or even recommend new treatments, that people haven't tried before, and make them in the lab. So it overall reduces the time to bring out new drugs from pharmaceutical companies. And you can also go a stage further and use the genetic information from individuals, from genetic scans, which we can all do these days. And this leads the way towards customized drugs for individuals based on their DNA signatures. This is again a few years into the future. It's a challenge to the pharmaceutical companies because they'll have to produce smaller quantities of specific drugs. So that's a challenge for them. But you will end up with a lot more customized medicine rather than one size fits all. A sort of area of interest, probably to all of us, is regenerative medicine, make me young again. It's possible to use stem cells and obviously grow stem cells, to say regrow a heart or repair a heart or repair some of these major organs. Again, this is done on a fairly small scale at the moment. So what you can do is extract the stem cells, inject them into the body, and get it to regrow new cells. So this is the role of the AI here is to identify usable cells from the stem cells. So there's a very small number of them after being extracted will be able to be used, but it'll identify the good stem cells before they get put into the body. It can help to re-engineer the stem cells for any particular organ and just make the whole regenerative process more efficient. I can see this coming to life in the next 5 to 10 years. This regenerative medicine, I think, is it's for the future, but it's certainly doable. Obviously, AI brain implants I did mention. So there's a guy here who's got a spinal, he's got a broken spine, so he can't walk. So what they've done is put an implant into his brain, which can read his brain signals, and it can translate those into movement, because he used to be able to walk, and now he's had an accident. So his brain knows how to walk, but the messages aren't getting through to his legs. So you get signals from the implant over Wi-Fi to implants in the legs and the feet, so he can learn to walk again. So there he is standing with these two implants. Over time, you get reinforcement learning. So you measure the motion, and then you can reprogram the AI. Well, it'll sort of reprogram itself, to optimize the performance. So this particular patient is now able to walk 7 miles on his own. So that has been quite a success story. This is a Neuralink patient. And so we can see an increasing number of these. It's obviously quite an expensive treatment at the moment. But again, it can be extended to prosthetic limbs, artificial hands, that sort of thing. So again, it's a way of getting the brain, to talk to external devices, and there's all sorts of possibilities there. Again, using AI. AI, I think, will have a big impact on medical administration. You often go and see the GP, and they spend half their time staring at the screen. You've got a 10-minute slot, and they spend 5 of that looking at you, and 5 of the time looking at the screen. So, and AI system, the AI can train. You can train the AI, to do all this administration in the background, and just present the GP with the information that he needs onto his screen, or even through a voice interface. So he doesn't have to analyze lots of data. The data will all come to him and appear on his screen. So, for example, a patient could have an individual AI agent, that knows their condition, and present itself to the GP on the screen. So obviously also help with interview preparation and so on. Present all this medical data to the GP as needed, very quickly and simply. And it can also make transcripts of consultation, automate the entire process and update the patient record using AI, or even draft referral letters if required. So I can see the AI in the NHS administration having a big impact over the next 2 to 5 years. I know there's some big programs all already being kicked off inside the NHS, to use AI, to actually manage information. It's all about information management. Again, health AI is good for developing countries because you bring the expertise um, into the wild. You can bring the AI expertise into the wilds of South America, the jungle, and so on and so forth, on a laptop. So the experts don't need to be there. You have these virtual experts in remote locations in poor countries, and it'll be relatively cheaper. I mean, the AI will be a lot cheaper than traditional medical services because everything's automated. So it'll make this expertise available locally. You could also use it, to train local medics up as well. So there's ongoing collaboration between governments, United Nations, NGOs, researchers in this sort of area, to make this available to developing countries. Um, there's there's a company offering a sort of afterlife for um, relatives who've died. So there's three companies offering this. So you can continue your relationship with a deceased person. So what it does, you get a large language model and you train them up on that individual. So the large language model knows everything about that individual, their speech, their thought processes, their mood, and everything. And you get that programmed into a large language model. So you create a digital persona of a deceased person on an AI machine, a sort of virtual person, which you can run on your laptop, and you can talk to them after they've died. It captures everything about them. There's three companies already offering this. I think they're in the States, which is not surprising. And so you'll be able to interact in real time with a deceased person. It does need some legal and regulatory framework. I think the technology is there, but the legal and regulatory framework doesn't really exist. Certainly not in the UK. So that needs sorting out. So the technology is well ahead of the regulation, and the regulation really needs to catch up. It's typically 3 to 4 years ahead of the regulation. So this is a digital ghost which is available today. Again, you've got all these ethical issues, data privacy and security. The AI is handling vast amounts of data. So your individual data is somewhere on the AI system. So there are security issues which need to be sorted out and agreed, so that people can't go in and mine your data off the AI systems. There is security in these systems, but that really needs to be ramped up, I think, going forward and regulated. Bias and fairness, give everyone equal opportunities, whether they're rich or poor. And biases, black or white, again, needs to be evened out inside the algorithms. So the algorithms need to be optimized sort of across the piece rather than one specific, rather than just for white males, for example. Transparency is a big issue because these AI are doing things, but the question is, how is it making these choices? How is it actually working internally? The training method is to show the AI what to do, so you can train it. Okay, you can train it on masses of data, and it'll do what it's being asked to do. But exactly how it does it remains call it a mystery. So what you can do is ask it how it's working, ask it how it's making these decisions, and it will give you answers. So again, transparency and so on. There's more work required here. So you can get the AI to analyze itself. And obviously you need to ensure equal access, for all people is, I would say, essential for these improvements. So this is the final slide, a sort of a summary slide. The full presentation has got a lot more slides on it, but this is the sort of shorter version. So the healthcare in 10 years' time is definitely going to improve significantly using artificial intelligence. Today, you can already get improvements in hearing, vision, diagnostics. There's already there. within the next 5 to 10 years, you'll be able to see things like personalized medicine for the individual, mass health screening. I would see appearing. There's already trials in place. I can see that appearing within a few years, maybe 5 to 10 years, definitely. Wearable devices that can send medical information, that can capture and send out medical information and analyze that using AI, send it off to the health service if required. Surgical robots are already available. They're quite expensive, so they'll get a lot cheaper. Regenerative medicine, I think, still a bit of a way off, probably 5 to 10 years. Early mental health diagnostics and treatments, that's already, and that will improve over time. And administration, AI administration, especially the NHS healthcare systems, will improve by a factor of 2, 3, or 4 going forward using AI. Okay, well, that's the shorter presentation, so I'll stop sharing now.